Alice, go ahead.
Imagine there's no countries, it isn't hard to do, nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Ralph Smedley imagined that he could help people to learn how to talk by talking. He created Toastmasters International in 1924. The mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. In 19 September 2005, RSS was born. Members from all over the world. Our meeting is on Mondays at 7 a.m. Oregon time and with the same Zoom link. Guests, you are always welcome. Mute your microphones and leave your camera on. Living life in peace. Role takers, identify your role in front of your names. Speakers, pin video or timer. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. Tiger!
I love our essays. So nice to have you back, Alice. Welcome to Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers, all members and guests. Here we are, our first meeting in December. And without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Our Toastmaster today, all the way from Amman, Jordan. He is a former president. He is an experienced Toastmaster. And he is going to rock this meeting. So without further ado, Nizar, the virtual podium is all yours, sir. Take it away.
Thank you, Tiger. Thank you so much. The theme of today that I chose is Ubuntu. This club reminds me with this word. Are you willing to hear a story to know what is Ubuntu? Can I see a thumbs up? All right. Once upon a time, there was a social researcher. A researcher came from Western Europe to far deep in Africa. He wanted to study the social behavioral within African people. And he saw some kids are playing. He placed the kids and he grabbed a basket, filled the basket with the fruit, put it underneath a tree and place the kids within 100 meters distance. He told the kids, the one will win the race to reach the basket of fruit. The first one will have all the fruit by himself. And he started and saying, are you ready? The kids say, yes, we are ready. And he gave the signal of the start of the race. He astonished. The kids handed each other's hands, walking within the same distance and they reached the basket at the same time. They took the basket and they sat in a circle, enjoying the fruit, all of them within the same shade. The researcher got astonished and he went to them and asked them, why you did that? You can, one of you, win the race, take the whole basket by himself and enjoy the whole fruit by himself. They told him, Ubuntu, which means, how can we enjoy alone and all other kids will be sad because there will be no fruit for them. Ubuntu, I am because we are. And this is the start of the theme. Before we continue, let's hear from the grammarian, Aimee, telling us a brief about her role. Back to you, Aimee.
Thank you very much. It's a great theme that we have today. We'll follow it through with our word of the day, but to introduce first my role as grammarian, my responsibility is to pay close attention to all speakers and listen out for their language. I will take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. The word of today is altruistic. Altruistic is someone who is altruistic always puts others first. An altruistic firefighter risks his life to save another's life, while an altruistic mum gives up the last bite of pie so her kids can be happy. I'll put this in the chat so everyone can see, and I will report back at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Aimee. Now, let's hear from our counter for today, going back to Ayu. The mic is yours.
Thank you, Nisar. Hi, everyone. I see Robekka, Surima, and one more Eliza. Welcome to the meeting. And then today I will be the counter. So I will take notes of the and the filler word and the repeat words, because several of us probably will say and or I. So just let's be careful a little bit with our usage of filler word and repeat word, because I will mention your name at the end of the meeting when our GE call upon you. Back to you, Nisa.
Thank you, Ayu. And our timer is our president. Tiger always like to be a timer because he likes to use the stop card. Back to you, Tiger. Can you give us a brief about timer rule?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. We want to be altruistic with our time so that we respect everybody. At 5 minutes, if you're a speaker, you're going to see the limes. If you're doing the table topics, this will be at 1 minute. At 6 minutes, if you're speaking, you will see the lemons. Table topics will be 1.5 minutes. And when you get to strawberries, it's time for dessert, which means you should be finishing up. And as our president, or as our Toastmaster said, if you go by your time, you will get the stop sign. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tiger. And without any further notice, I'd like to present the first speaker for today. The first speaker for today, she is, her name is Vicky Ferrer, and she is delivering from the team collaboration pathway. Her project is Understanding Your Leadership Style. Her title is Messiahing. Is it correct, Vicky? Oh, all right. So her title is Messiahing, and her evaluator will be Amanda Zuert. Messiahing, Vicky Ferrer.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. How many among you know the meaning of Messiah? I didn't know it myself until I watched a movie that compelled me to follow from the beginning to the end. Messiah means an incomplete life. It was partly filmed in Jordan, and secondly, the movie made me feel like I was working in the office of First International, a trading company in South Korea. I could identify leadership styles, the effective ones and the ineffective ones. Jean Gouret was the main actor who was accepted as a trainee intern. His co-workers at first treated him roughly, but then he started to earn the respect by his humble demeanor and for some smart ideas he put forward to the company. Gouret endeavored to build his successful reputation. People grew curious about him and acknowledged him, including the president of the company. A few people resented him because they had to finish college to be hired at the company, while Gouret, he was only a high school graduate. There is a powerful play of leadership in this movie where the manager of Gouret, Mr. O, challenged Gouret to move his game upward and prove himself. As the movie progresses, Gouret proves everyone wrong. I realized that the reason I was totally immersed in the movie was because I had a similar experience. When I arrived in the Middle East, I heard remarks like, she won't make it big here because of her nationality. Most of the Filipinos in the Middle East anyway are domestic helpers. What can she do? People assume I have no educational background. And I married my husband for money. I was working as the managing director of a successful recruitment company in the Philippines. No one knew that. They wondered why my husband married this poor Filipina. I took everything in stride and proved it to myself that I could succeed with my personal and career life in the Middle East. There were two leadership styles that were prominent in the movie that I often used in my team as well: coaching and altruistic. On coaching, Mr. O patiently taught Gouret the rudiments of the trading company and challenged Gouret. You only have a high school certificate. You'll not be able to make it if you don't work hard enough. Pretty much using reverse psychology. In the club we recently chartered, an advanced club, Hossam, my son, and I mentor the members on improv and storytelling skills. We meet a week before the meeting to ensure all role players are aligned with the improv techniques. I love doing it and love the enthusiasm and progress of the members. When it comes to the second leadership style, altruistic, Mr. O wanted Gouret to beat the odds by empowering him. Mr. O wanted his team to know he wanted to build a superb team in spite of Gouret's liability. Hossam and I organized the Gavel Club in Jordan to help the youth create a better future for themselves. Our vision is to improve the quality life of these young students, especially during the pandemic. Some of them admitted they are suffering from depression. The parents are appreciative, and some of them are even members of our advisory committee. I am in the process of chartering a global all-women's Toastmasters club, so these women can be a voice of their community. I will continue my advocacy in empowering women and the children. And by the way, Gouret proved his worth and became the manager of Mr. O in a new company. I love what Abhijit Das said. Something has to be incomplete in our life to make us understand life. Only when we miss something do we realize the importance of that something in our life. We don't begin to live life when we have everything. We begin to live life when we have something missing, and still we find meaning in that existence. Let us constantly remind ourselves of Misaing. Let us work on our vision to live a better life and help provide quality life to others through our leadership. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
To Vicky, thank you so much. To help provide a quality life to others. This is the real value of Ubuntu. And another thing that we can learn from Ubuntu said, feel your shadow, but don't throw it into others people. That means listen deep to yourselves. Feel your difficult emotions. You might feel anger, you might feel hate, you might feel jealousy, but don't throw it, those emotions, that negative energy while you deal with others. Have a deep breath in. Move those feelings into your heart and learn how to control yourself, and don't react with filling the world with a negative feeling. Take it into your deep side self and learn how to control yourself. This is another meaning of Ubuntu. And now, our second speaker, Milva, she is delivering her level 1 from innovative planning. Her project is evaluation and feedback, project 2. Her evaluator will be Kevin, and her title is Career Woman or Housewife. Career Woman or Housewife. Over to you, Milva.
Thanks, Nizar. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to Toastmasters and dear guests. Career woman or housewife. Please choose which one you prefer to Melva. My friend is Guy asked me. I took a deep breath and said to him, what the question is that? As you know, women can do both. Women can be as mom, as a neighbor, as friend, as a teacher, and etc. Your question put woman just enable one thing. Actually, a little bit got mad about this question. So, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, why there's no question about a man? Now, I'm asking you, what do you prefer, being father to worker? Well, in my environment, think that just a man can make money. Meanwhile, women have to choose to be career woman or housewife. They think we cannot do both. If we choose as career woman, it means we forget about our responsible like cooking, caring family, and we are selfish. Really, it's bad in my environment. Then, if we choose as housewife, it's better. She dedicates. Well, for things that I prefer being as career woman. First, I need money because I know I live in this earth, so I need money to buy my needed, to pay my study right now, to go to holiday when I get bored, to buy house, to treat my friends, and what I want to, it can't. Well, I remember about my friend saying, "Be better, I cry when mentioned, than my heart." And the second, independent. Independent doesn't mean I don't need anyone. Really, as human, I still hang to people. I still need farmers to produce rice. Independent, I mean I can support myself. I don't depend on person. I can create my happiness. I can heal my sorrow. And the third, I can help people. Because I do my potential, I can help to others. Like now, I am tax worker. I help citizens to understand tax. I help my country to get tax revenue. And the fourth, I can care my family. I treat them, and I'm a loyal one. Then, as housewife, I think it will be get stressed and bored because I have to do the same routine every day, every month, and every year. And I have to hand to my husband. And that's my point. One thing makes me scared is when he's gone or when he leaves me. I'm nothing. I cannot survive by myself. Well, today is so hard because of pandemic. Many people lose their job, homeless and starving. Meanwhile, life must go on. Like or dislike, women have to work to feed their family. So, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, what do you choose? To be career woman or housewife? Well, for me, I prefer being as career woman because I have a reason. I need money, have to be independent, I can help people, I can care my family. What we choose as a career woman or housewife is not important. The essential is how to make sure our family not lose our affection and food altruistic. We keep caring for our family in different ways. As career woman gives up on her time to go work, and housewife ignores making money to take care of her family. So, how about you guys? Do you prefer being career woman to housewife? Back to you, Nizar.
Thank you. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you, Melba. Well, my wife chose both. All right. Let's go immediately to our singer. The table topics for today. Over to you, Alice.
I am, because we are, you are. Nizar, I liked that theme, and I thought of a song. I am because you are. Let's get together and feel alright. Think on your feet. Let's get together and feel alright. I have questions on that theme. And I would like to ask first, Surima.
Yes.
Can you remember? Hello, Surima. Oh, I'm fine. Can you remember a time when someone did something crazy for you to show you that he cares?
Yes. So one
Oh.
of my friends, he had come down to India from United States to meet me. And unfortunately, at that time, I was away in Europe. So he planned a complete surprise for me. and he pretended that he had gone back to his house, and he called me on my mobile saying that he wants me to meet one of his friends, and he surprised me by being there himself, and I never expected him to be there, but that was the biggest surprise that he gave me. So yeah.
Thank you, Surima. Thank you. And now I want to go to Michelle. And I want to ask Michelle if she can share with us something from her Toastmasters experience that proves that I am because we are.
Wow, that's an incredibly thought-provoking question. I have so many experiences where people just blew me away with the way that they cared about others. But I think the one that stands out is back in my early days as a Toastmaster. I had been a trainer before I became a Toastmaster, and I organized an event where I brought in an international speaker. Long story short, I lost my shirt. I owed so much money because I had booked a big place, and there weren't enough people who registered. On the night before the event, his manager threatened for him not to show up at the ballroom of the biggest hotel in Manila, not to show up, and to announce instead that we are not speaking because Michelle, the organizer, has not paid us. That would have been total devastation for me. And a fellow Toastmaster who back then just knew as another trainer offered to pay his fees. And this was not a small amount. This was close to 5,000 US dollars. And I want to mention her name, and I think Vicky Ferrer might know her, Dinah Loomis. Out of the goodness of her heart, she just offered to pay. She didn't have to, and she didn't even ask me to sign a contract. She just went up there the next day and paid them. And I think they themselves could not believe how somebody could be so altruistic to do that for just a fellow Toastmaster. It was unbelievable. And to this day, I am grateful. And it is years later, I am publicly thanking her once again for her incredible altruism, making me realize that we alone are nothing, but as a group, as a team, we are everything. Back to you, Alice.
Thank you, Michelle. What a story. And because we speak of money, I want to ask the next question to Kevin. Kevin Birdsell, am I right? Kevin Birdsell?
Yes.
Okay. Kevin, if you had $1 million, what would you do for the world to be a better place?
I would be very, very unselfish and altruistic when it came to my finances. If I was to land $1 million tomorrow, I definitely would not be selfish. I would keep a little small percentage for myself to make a living, of course, because I'm also a career man. I'm not a house husband. And I would invest the money into programs like Toastmasters to help people become better leaders and better public speakers, and to use the money to find ways on how we can better Toastmasters International overall. I know it's a non-profitable organization, and I'm sure that they probably could use a lot of good funds to maybe make things better or make changes in the overall Toastmasters program. And I'd also use the money to help our country's economy. I know that there's a lot of people out of work right now, and I know that our economy is suffering greatly. So I feel that the economy and our well-being and, you know, the fact that we need food and other essentials is more important right now than a lot of other things. So I would definitely invest the money wisely to help other people. So, yeah, back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Kevin. And now I want to go to Rhea Banerjee. I don't know if I say it right. Rhea, are you there? Rhea? Or Robekka?
Yes.
Oh, hello, Robekka.
Hi.
How are you? How are
good,
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Okay. You are Rhea?
I'm
Rhea.
Robekka.
Okay. What is the greatest success in your life that you wouldn't achieve if you didn't have the support of others?
Okay. such a hard question for me in Singapore to think about at 11 p.m. now. Okay. So I just what the greatest success in my life? I think every little things connected to each other's. I mean, in my life, especially the support system from family, from friends, from the colleagues, from the even Toastmaster. So success in life doesn't mean the materialistic things like you have car, you have house, and so on. But in terms of like today, word of the day, altruistic, you put others at first, it considered as a success as well. So what I like in my life journey to be altruistic person, you're not being selfish, but the feeling for me to be success is to inspire and then to motivate others and to be the best version of yourself. So this is what I consider as a success. And yeah, and thanks to all people that come to my life. Like I mentioned, my family, my friends, even strangers that I don't know, that also help me to be the better version of me. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Robekka. Thank you. Do I have time for another question or it's over? Can someone tell me? Do I have time?
We can do one more. We have time for one more.
Okay. Rhea, is she there?
Rhea is disconnected a little bit. She says she will come back.
Okay. Do we have another guest that I can see here?
Can I suggest Eliza?
Yes, yes, Eliza. I can see her here because Eliza.
Hi. Yes,
Eliza.
hi.
Hi, Eliza.
Hi.
What is the most altruistic action you have done for someone you love?
Thank you, Alice, for the questions. Something that altruistic that I've done is I did for my mom, because she is a person that I really love so much. So I've been putting her first above everything about my life. So when I was finishing my study, I got a bursary, but I rejected just to take care of her because she is having a kidney problem and also so many complications. And I choose to be beside her rather than to further my study. And I want to be next to her in everything. And I want to be the person that she can turn to all the time. Not everyone else. Especially she has a daughter And I know when you are sick, daughter is the person that you want to really cling to rather than other people. So I'm quite lucky because I can give myself to my mom after what she did for me. I hope that I can be a good daughter for her during all my service to her. But unfortunately, she already passed away last 7 months during this COVID period. It's a great loss for me because now I don't have anybody to take care to, nobody to turn to, nobody to chat. And even she is a sick person, but she always gives me a support. That's what I really love about being with a mom. And to everyone, I always say, if you want to sacrifice something about your life, maybe you should sacrifice yourself towards your parents first, because parents is always the one who will take care of you and put you above everything. So I'm quite lucky girl because I altruistic towards my mom. I just want to be, if I can turn the world, turn the time, I wish that I can see her again, I can take care of her again. Yeah, back to you. I think the timer is.
Thank
Hello. I think something wrong, right? I think I was stuck here. Okay, thank you. Huh?
It's okay,
Thank you very
Eliza.
much.
It's okay, Eliza. You are doing good. Go ahead, Alice.
Okay. Can I do one more question? Can I make one more question or am I done?
Is there timer?
Yeah, I think you can have one short question with
The last. I don't have another. It is the last. Okay. Who can, I don't know, is there anyone who can, who would like to speak?
How about Robekka?
Maribel.
Robekka.
Yeah.
Okay. Robekka.
Yeah, she's there.
I think
Oh,
I
Robekka.
did,
Oh,
right?
I think that she has she spoke.
I already speak. Thank
What
you
about
for my
Maribel?
fans. I know
No,
everybody
Maribel.
want me to talk.
Maribel.
I would like Ayu to answer that question.
No, just a moment. There are two persons here. One is Robekka and one is Rebecca. So Rebecca is
Okay.
Maribek. Okay. So
The other,
go ahead,
Rebecca.
Maribek.
I didn't know. Rebecca.
Yeah, Rebecca.
Yes, I'm sorry that my name is different in my Zoom account because I've been Zooming with my parents. So that's my nickname. So I'm not really prepared, but what is it? What did you want me to do, Alice?
It's my last question, and I didn't know if. Imagine it's morning and you're in a hurry because you're going at work. Suddenly you meet with a beggar who seems to need help. What are you doing?
On my way to work, and I've seen it happen. I've seen homeless people, vet veterans in the corner of the bridge, saying that they're homeless and they're in need of, a little help will go a long way for them. I always stop and give. I don't, some people say don't do that because there are men and women who beg and they all put the money into drugs. That is not my issue. My issue is what I can do at that moment for that person. I mean well, I always give. Now, if they want to spend it somewhere, I just pray to God. I said, I hope this helps them. So They've been going through life. They've been going through a lot of difficulty, but to be homeless here in Minnesota with our harsh winters, I just can't just ignore it. So I always stop and give. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alice. And now we are going back to our Toastmasters.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alice, for the fantastic energy you brought to the theme. And remember, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if we want to go far, let's go together. Please join me in welcoming the General Evaluator for today. Let's welcome Shilpa. Shilpa, you are muted.
Yes. Thank you, Nizar. Every meeting is there for us to learn something. We all are here to add value to what we already know. From our speeches and from the table topics and how the meeting was conducted. It is important for all of us to receive feedback on how we did today so that we can take it forward and implement it further in our next meetings and also in life. That is why I evaluate the meeting as a general evaluator. But first, I bring along my team that supports me in giving feedback to everyone here. First is the evaluators who evaluate the speech, and then I bring the other functionaries of the meeting. Our first evaluator today for Vicky's speech would be, okay, 1 minute. Vicky would be evaluated by Amanda Swartz, and I present the stage to her now.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, and very welcome Toastmasters and guests today, especially Vicky. A leader takes people where they want to go, but a great leader takes them not necessarily where they want to go, but where they ought to be. And Vicky is a fantastic demonstration of this kind of leader. And she demonstrated that in her speech, Miss Ayeng, which is about an incomplete life. I love the way she talked about this particular film that she'd seen, Miss Ayeng, and how she drew a similar path to her own journey. I love the way that she really, what's the word I'm looking for? She demonstrated how this path was similar to hers in a really brilliant, descriptive narrative. Vicky is very good with words. She's very good at storytelling, and she really brought these pictures to life today. I love that. I would also like to say that she uses her voice beautifully. She has good vocal variety. It draws you in, and then she uses her gestures to demonstrate and underline what she is saying. Very good indeed. I would like to propose that Vicky try something bigger and better. At the beginning, she was very animated and lots of vitality, but I found the energy dropped a little bit. And I would suggest that she keep up that energy all the way through, especially for her call to action. Go bigger, go bolder, really emphasize that particular point. The second thing is I would have liked to have heard a little bit more about your coaching for improvisation. Maybe demonstrate a little bit there so that you can fill out a few gaps there in what you're doing. But I love the way that Vicky really is altruistic, generous, in her coaching and the way she starts up new clubs. And the way she explained it to us today was brilliant. Go bigger and bolder, especially with that call to action. Really motivate us to do more and to make us find that missing something in our lives. Really go bigger and bolder. But I love her word pictures. I love the way she described all the things that she's done and how she described this movie. Well done, Vicky. Back to you, Shilpa.
Thank you, Amanda. This was an evaluation that we can all learn from, and the speech itself was a demonstration of how good speeches are done. That's the beauty of our club. On one hand, we have accomplished speakers who have been at various posts, who have held high offices as Toastmasters. And on the other hand, our second speaker today was a person starting out. She took the step of coming out of her comfort zone and speaking in front of an audience. Our second speaker, Melva, today would be evaluated by our area director, Kevin Birdsell.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Melva, I want to say it was a wonderful, entertaining speech overall. I really was captivated by the overall title of your speech. I believe that the subject that you discussed today is something that we can all relate from, especially in the world today where we're kind of living in a very, like you say, a double income society where the man and the woman both have to work in order to support their family and all that. And unfortunately, they can't really devote a lot of time to housework. That's a problem whether you're married or not. Me, in my case, I'm a bachelor, so I have to devote about 100% to my job because I'm also a career person, as well as being a security officer and an EMT, also in the National Guard and a volunteer firefighter. I have to devote all my time to my career. And I can only devote about 20% of my time to my home and making order and keeping a good clean home with order. Unfortunately, there's a lot of clutter in my home, so I can't really, and it's frustrating that I can't seem to balance the two. It's very frustrating. I wish I could spend a lot more time at home and being more domesticated, because I think that there's also a wonderful, rewarding life to just living at home and keeping order. However, I really felt that there were some really important aspects of your speech that involved being very practical and realistic. We do live in a very real world. We have to work. We've got to make money. We've got to put food on the table. We've got to pay the bills. And also we need money for gas to get us to work every day. It's just a very, very realistic situation that we're in right now. It's not pleasant, but there are a lot of rewards to being a career person as opposed to being a housewife, and vice versa, I'm sure. But I was very inspired by your speech. It was very entertaining, and you did a wonderful job of really capturing our attention all the time. And what really captured my interest was the props that you used initially in the beginning of your speech. It's housewife or career person. You had those two props. Those were kind of, it got my attention very quickly. So good job on that. Overall, it was very entertaining, very educational. And I liked how your speech was kind of in the form of a question that we can all ask ourselves. Can we be a career person or a house person? Or can we be both? I don't know. It's a good question, but yes, it was a wonderful speech and good job. And back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Kevin, for that evaluation. Today we had 2 speeches and we had table topics. Table topics was high energy done by Alice, nothing short of what we expect from her. And we also have a table topics evaluator today, so that our guests and speakers can get some feedback on how they did in their impromptu speaking. I would bring on to the stage Ram for evaluating the impromptu speeches, the table topics.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. So yeah, I'll give a brief evaluation of the table topics. I'll give a commendation and a recommendation. So the first speaker was Sarima, our guest. So I thought she did extremely well. She was given a question to remember someone who did something crazy, but altruistic for you. And she had a really good answer. She described when her friend came to visit her, and then she was away, and then he actually came and surprised her. And I thought that was really a personal example, very well done, and I really commend her for coming up with something very engaging. My only recommendation, she could have kept going a bit longer. I know it's a bit, when the first time you do it, it's a bit strange and you kind of, your mind goes blank, but just keep up with the story. Maybe tell us a bit about your friend or your relationship with your friend, or tell us about the experience where he surprised you with a phone call and what happened next. Just sort of push it just a little bit further. And that's what you do in Toastmasters. You start and then just try and push it every time. You push ourselves a bit further, but very well done overall. Our next speaker was Michelle. She was asked about an example from Toastmasters of saying "I am because we are." And Michelle, Michelle, very well spoken. She had a very good answer. She talked about a friend who stepped forward and helped her when she needed, when the speaker was about to pull out. And I thought she gave a very warm, personal story. Michelle is very easy to listen to. And I thought it was, really well delivered table topic. My only recommendation for Michelle is I was left curious. What happened? I actually want to know more about the story. What happened with the conference and how did it go? Obviously the person stepped in, how did it go? And I just wanted a bit more, left a little bit curious. So Michelle, I want to know more. The next speaker was Kevin, talking about what he would do with winnings. Again, I thought Kevin gave a very personal, very engaging speech. He really talked about you got to know what his values were and how he not just used the money just for himself, but he used it for Toastmasters to help people without jobs. I thought that was really engaging when you sort of get to know the person. My only recommendation for Kevin is just to maybe just finish off with a conclusion, saying, just a clear conclusion, whatever it is. Maybe you could have said, it's good to have money, but it's also good to do good with money, and that makes you feel better, or just some little takeaway. It's always good to, when you listen to a speech or a tabletop, just to come up with some takeaway, which you can maybe apply to your own life. The next speaker was the first Robekka. And she talked about, she was talking about what is greatest success in life with the help of others. And I thought, again, it was very personal, a very engaging table topic. She told us that she thought, it's not all about material things, it's about relationships. And again, we got to get to know her. She spoke very confidently, very smoothly, effortlessly. The only thing I could recommend for her is to just maybe give an example of a relationship or story to illustrate her point. I think it always makes it more engaging if we can get something very specific rather than something slightly more abstract. The next speaker was Eliza, and talking about the most alternative acts she did for someone else. And Eliza was great. She just knew immediately. She talked about her mom and the relationships with her mom. And she gave a story about, for example, she turned down a bursary so she could help take care of her mom. So I thought that was very engaging and very well done. My only recommendation for Eliza would be to actually tell us a bit about your mom. Maybe tell a story or an example of what the relationship with your mom was. Because I think you painted a wonderful picture, and a story would have just finished it off perfectly. And finally, the second Robekka was talking about what would you do if you came across someone begging. And again, Robekka just jumped right in. She said, yes, I would definitely help. I don't worry about what they'll do with it. I want to help people. And she brought that ethos of really explaining why she wanted to help people. And I thought that was really engaging because we want to know about people, each person. So the only thing I could suggest is just, again, maybe just tell a little story or incident, because it sounds like you do help people. So maybe give an example of where you helped and how that interaction went, and just give us saying, so don't hesitate next time because I have this positive story to tell you. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Shilpa, we can't hear you.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. I apologize. My computer has suddenly gone into an update mode and my iPad is not being very cooperative. So thank you, Ram, for the detailed evaluation for each of our speakers. And you're making me a little bit jealous by putting up that London background. We all cannot travel anywhere yet, but we can just see the life behind you. So, but good job overall, giving each speaker a commendation and a recommendation so that they have something to work upon in their next speaking assignment. I will now call upon our grammarian, Aimee. I would give a report on Aimee. She, as grammarian, picked a fantastic word, altruistic. I had heard that word, but I had actually not used it as much. Sometimes word of the day are words that are common, but they are not used by everyone. In this meeting, the word of the day was used generously, and Aimee will also give us a report on how we all did grammatically today. Aimee, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Shilpa. Yes, the word of the day certainly was used generously. I have a huge list of everyone who used it. I had Tiger, you used it once. Vicky used it twice. Melva, you fit it in as well. Alice, Michelle, you got it twice. Kevin, you got it in once. Amanda, you got it in once. Rebecca, you got it in twice. Graham, once. Eliza once, and Shilpa once. So that's a total of 14 times we got the word of the day used today. So that's a really, like, well done to everyone. A round of applause for us all. Throughout the meeting, there were some lovely sentences that I picked up on, some great use of the English language with painted a wonderful picture. Harsh winter. I always stop and give. Suffering greatly. If I was to land $1 million tomorrow. Drew a similar path to her journey. A descriptive narrative. Bigger and bolder. A long story short, I lost my shirt. People blew me away. I took everything in my stride. Voice of the community. If you go by your time, you will get the stop sign. These are among many of the notes I have of all the different descriptive words that were used. There's great language today. A thing I would point out, there was once or twice I noticed a word was dropped in a sentence. So somewhere I heard you not be able to, and it would be you will not be able to, and what question is that? And that would be what sort of question is that? So there was just I think there was another you have car, and again, you have a car. So just with anything like that, just maybe slow down a little bit when you're saying it, because I think that can happen a lot when we're excited and we're just trying to get the words out there. So my only recommendation there to everyone would be just be a little wary of when you're speaking, to slow down and get all the words in there when you're just let the words flow out. Overall, though, it was an amazing meeting and there was really beautiful language today. So I'll hand it back to our general evaluator.
Thank you, thank you, Aimee. And I would now like to call upon our art timer to give us the report on how we did on that front.
Thank you very much, Miss General Evaluator. I didn't have to use the stop sign today. Everybody was very altruistic with your times. If you want to know what your times were exactly, you can look in the chat. Thank you very much. Back to you, Shilpa.
That was quick and precise, Tiger. Thank you so much for the report and giving the timings in the chat. Everyone qualified, looks to me. And now we also have he gave the timer report, and as our counter, Ayu would be giving us our report.
Thank you, Silva. Thank you, our general evaluator. Today, I do heard several filler word and some repeat word, but I would like to congratulate everyone because it's not really disturbing. Sometimes we do say it, but when you do have a speech and then you do it too many things, it will be disturbing. 1, 2 will be okay. But only one thing I would like to say, Aimee, I would like to say congratulations. Your and reduced so much. You still do. You still do, especially at the last part of your report. But the first half, it was quite fluent and not really and there. So well done. Everybody, thank you so much. Back to you, Silva.
Thank you, Ayu, for the report on how we did with the filler words and the ahs and the ums while speaking today. And I will now tell how I felt about this meeting. It was altruistic for our members to take up roles at last minutes. We all know that changes can happen in Toastmasters meetings, but what is important is to step up and fill the roles when required. Good job on doing that. Second, I would take the brunt of not being up to the mark today as the general evaluator. I would like to blame it on the technology, but yes, I apologize again. I feel that it could have been done better. Now coming to our evaluators of the day. Before I go to the evaluators again, the meeting was started by our Sergeant of Arms, Aimee, on the high note that she has made us used to. That is like a USP of our club now. She brought in our President Tiger, who warmly welcomed us and got us moving into the meeting. Then it was time for Nizar, our Toastmaster of the day. Nizar, I would have to congratulate you on the theme that you have chosen. It resonated well with all of us. It was a new theme, but it caught the fancy of everyone in the room. And people just felt that snowball of positivity moving, and it was passed from one speaker to another throughout the meeting. You also talked about the theme throughout, and that gave us more insights into it. Thank you. We had fantastic speakers, well evaluated by evaluators. I would like to tell Kevin, sometimes when you come after a long time to the meeting, you have so much to say in a small time. I would have liked to hear more about how Melwa did rather than what she said in her speech. Ram was perfect as table topics evaluator. Aimee, as I said, brought in not only a good word, then she also gave us the detailed description of what was well said. She picked up the best phrases out of the meeting. That works two ways. It gives us motivation to use better English when we speak. And it gives us like a pat on the back for doing a good job. Thank you, Aimee, for that thorough evaluation. Tiger kept it crisp. He was perfect with his timings. I don't want to get that stop sign, so I'll just jump to Ayu and say that she told us that it's not important to count the R's and the ums, but to make sure that they are not like the roadblocks, hiccups of our speech. In overall, a very well meeting, and I'm glad to see so many faces that were not seen last month. Good going club. I will give the meeting back to our Toastmaster of the day, Nizar now.
Thank you so much, Shilpa. Someone in the meeting today said, we alone are nothing, but we as a group are everything. Who said so?
Michelle.
Yes, you will win with us a big basket of fruit, but you will share it with every one of us. I know that because you are Ubuntu. And back to our presiding officer, Tiger.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster. Excellent job, Mr. Toastmaster. Way to keep the meeting rolling and keep it positive. Shilpa, you were fantastic. You don't need to make any excuses for your effort today. You were, as the Indonesians would say, wah. At this point, I'm going to turn the meeting over to our treasurer, and that is Michelle, to take care of some business.
Thank you very much, Tiger, for the time. And this will be very brief. I have my timer. We have, as a Toastmasters Club, we are supposed to submit a roster of our officers starting January, and it should already have been submitted, but we were so busy, we haven't done that yet. I called for nominees or self-nominations last week, and I have not received any. Our current officers are, as I posted in the chat, and I posted it again. If we do not have any other members who would like to serve in an officer role for the next 6 months, I propose that we just have the secretary cast one vote, just, by raising her hand or whatever means, audible means she can say, that these will be our officers again for the next term, which is 6 months. So please, you can unmute yourself if you would like to serve in a role, only the paid members, of course. And we definitely have a quorum, proud to say, definitely have a quorum right now. So is there anyone who would like to serve in a role for the next term, other than the current officers who have all agreed to continue serving in their roles? I think as a parliamentary rule, I will ask one more time the question, is there anyone who wishes to serve in any club officer role for the next term? Please unmute yourself if you wish to say that you will serve. And I'm counting down. Hearing none or seeing none, I would like to direct our secretary to cast one vote for all roster of officers, and let me read it off. President Tiger McKendy, Vice President Education Ayu Anantya. Of course, in the roster it will be a different name which I cannot pronounce. Sienna Chanda something. BPM Yasmin Tawala. BPPR is Federico Navarrete. Secretary is Shilpa Singhal. Treasurer is Michelle Albalim, and Sergeant at Arms Alice Zafiri. So no further comments, questions, or responses. Back to you, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michelle, and thank you to all our officers for serving and all our members for being here. If you notice, the roster of officers pretty much mirrors our international flavor. We have 7 officers from 7 different countries. Well, that is assuming that we can put Michelle in the Philippines, because she is technically Filipino, even though she's been Americanized. She's still got the Filipino attitude. So there you go. Thank you everyone for another wonderful meeting. Please stick around afterwards. I'd love to get some input from our guests, and of course, members, you guys are also welcome. At this point, I will go ahead and officially end our first meeting in December, and we'll see you guys all again next week. On 3, 1, 2, and 3.